I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon, The Blackest Heart, and The Lonesome Crown, all published by Simon & Schuster Saga Press. Today I'm going to be reviewing Callaghen by Louis L'Amour. I got my Louis L'Amour collection back here. We're reviewing them one at a time for my channel. I will eventually review I've got about 80 or 90 novels. We'll eventually get to review them all. Just like I'm reviewing all the Stephen King novels, just like I'm reviewing every novel in my library. I mean, holy cow, folks, I got 3,000 or more books in my library that I'm going to be reviewing. So stay tuned. All of the Louis L'Amours, too. This one was published in 1972. We always review the covers. You know, in my book reviews, we always review the graphic design on the covers because I love graphic design. I love book cover illustration. This is a great painting by, and his name escapes me, and I've been searching the internet forever to find it. But this guy paints a lot of romance covers. He did a lot of the Fabio romance cover novels. He's done a lot of fantasy novels, and he's done a handful of Louis L'Amour novels. And I like the style of this. This is a little bit different of a painting for a Louis L'Amour novel. However, I do like it. It captures our main man, Callaghen, pretty well. And if any of you can, I can't remember. I Googled this guy's. I tried to Google. I actually tried to figure out who did this illustration because I know the illustrator is a famous illustrator and I just can't. So if anybody out there figures it out, put it in the comments. Who's the illustrator that did this cover? He's famous. He did a lot of romance stuff. Did a lot. He painted Fabio a lot. If you know who that is. So what was Callaghen? What's Callaghen about? Callaghen starts out, the first 20 pages just start out with Callaghen and his crew wandering through the harsh desert for 20 pages. We don't even know why they're wandering through the desert. It's Callaghen, Walsh, Crocker, and their Indian guide named Delaware. And the clues start to fall in place. They were out scouting for the Mojave Indians. They're in the Mojave Desert out scouting for Indians. They've got this other scout named Delaware who's helping them scout the other Indians. And their lieutenant, they were once a crew of 5, but their lieutenant who was leading them was killed mysteriously. And so now they're just wandering in the desert trying to get back to base camp. And the desert is a harsh place. And for the first 20 pages, we're just wandering with these people in this bleak, harsh place as they're being chased by Indians, as they're trying to, they don't have water, they don't have food. Oh my gosh. I love when Louis L'Amour puts us in those scenarios in the Old West where things just are dire and people are just surviving by the bare skin of their teeth, right? Louis L'Amour does that so well. Well, anyway, our main man, Callaghen, he's been through a lot in his life. He's like in his mid-30s, but he was an Irishman. He joined the French army. He went and fought in Afghanistan. He went and fought in South Africa, all in the early 1800s. He came to America. He fought in the Civil War. Now he's an Indian scout out in the Old West, and now he's in this predicament. Well, he guides his group back to the base camp. They get to the base camp, and the captain is like, your lieutenant didn't make it back. Well, what we need to do is we need to gather up all his belongings and send him back to his family. So they go to gather up all the dead lieutenant's belongings, and they find that the lieutenant's barracks and bunk and possessions have already been looted by somebody. So not only did the lieutenant die mysteriously in the desert, but his possessions were looted at the base camp. And as they're going through his possessions, Callaghen's like, well, what were they looking for? Nothing seems to be stolen. I swear to God, everything falls over in the set design and the video production, top notch. I don't know what just happened over there. We'll leave it the way it is, crooked. I don't care. Or I'll edit this part out. Anyway, Callaghen, he finds a map hidden in the dead lieutenant's possession. He finds a map and he's like, I think this map is what they were looking for, because he's looking at the map and he's like, this is a map to treasure. This is a map to a river, an underground river of gold, Spanish gold, an underground river of gold. It's a map to, this is what the people, this is why the lieutenant was killed. So now Callaghen grabs his crew and he's like, I'm going to go find this river of gold. And I love that because one of Louis L'Amour's plot devices, which show up in about 1 out of every 10 of his novels are people in the West searching for the lost Spanish gold. I love that plot line. I mean, there's about a half a dozen different plot lines that run through all the Louis L'Amour novels, and one of them that I love the most is hey, there's gold out there, and we got to go find it. The lost Spanish gold, we got to go get it. And then everybody goes chasing after it, and there's a lot of gunfights and people chasing after the gold. So that's what happens. We're off on a quest for this lost river of gold underground. And I'm going to read to you, because they go back into the harsh desert, right? And the desert's a mean place. And I love the way Louis L'Amour writes, and I very rarely read passages out of books that I'm reviewing unless they're Louis L'Amour novels, and then I do read the passages because I love the way he writes. And I love the way he describes the desert, because these guys launch back out into the desert. And I love the way he describes the desert in these 2 paragraphs. So bear with me, I'm going to read it because it's beautiful. Callaghen was a man at home in the desert. The desert has always been a place of legend and mystery, a lost world wherein lost mines and lost cities have been found, seen, or speculated about. In the vast emptiness of the desert, almost anything could happen. The desert preserves. What other lands destroy, the desert keeps. It accepts dead things, holds them close, and draws away the rot that would destroy. Given time, the desert mummifies, it crystallizes. The dead are undisturbed. The sun, the dry air, and the sand take out the moisture and preserve the body. Love that. Love those descriptions. Love those descriptions. Does Callaghen find the lost river of gold? Oh, that's the mystery. That is the mystery. That is the Irish mystery from Callaghen. Does he find it? Does he find his lost river of gold underground? I like this novel because it goes in some unpredictable directions. And yeah, it's just cool. It's just one of his better ones. I read this when I was a teenager. I didn't remember jack squat about it. Rereading it as an adult, it was a great little book. I give Callaghen by Louis L'Amour, let's give it 8.5 out of 10.